Us have got our coffee. We're ready to go. I'm glad you asked. Who's three of us? Gareth, Tumelo, and Rochelle de Kock, Herald newspaper editor, joining us this morning. Hello to you, Rochelle. Good to have you back on the show.
Morning.
And the sixth state of Bay clinics. This has been an ongoing theme for the Herald, because I know you focus on this because it's such an issue that you keep bringing back in, and time again, you're just finding and uncovering more and more concerning stories.
Yes, good morning, Gareth and Tumelo. It's absolutely, such a crucial issue because it affects people at the very core, I think, of basic services. And what we've been seeing, and in fact been getting a lot of complaints about, is the fact that our clinics in our city are just not coping, either with the volume of people or the standard of care in the clinics. And the sad situation is that, what we're reporting on today is that people are standing for up to 7 hours, in a queue from very early in the morning just to go and, refill their prescriptions. I mean, that's something that one would think would not need to happen. And it's not even just, the wait for them. It's the fact that, they are sometimes treated so badly. Yeah. If they even come up to a nurse and want to ask questions, perhaps unsure, they get berated, particularly elderly people who feel that they get there and they're degraded as elderly people who maybe don't know where to stand, which queue to go to. It's absolutely a heartbreaking situation that we're seeing in our city.
Quite concerning that this is still ongoing, because these are some of the concerns that the health department surely should be about already, Rochelle, but clearly not much has been done about it. Moving on to the witness now, Blanket Gate and Revel, CIU to open a criminal case there against KZN social development officials, again seeing government officials being headhunted by law enforcement there.
Now, basically, what's happened in this case is there were these, the SIU investigated this case of 8 social development officials who were implicated in purchasing irregular purchase of 48,000 blankets at inflated prices. And the problem here is that, they didn't have to do so. Those blankets, they never had to buy them. But the issue here at play seems to be that the NPA has declined to prosecute. They've said that there's insufficient evidence as to, who should basically be held responsible for any of this wrongdoing. I mean, it's 22 million rand on blankets that were not needed. But opposition parties are obviously, very upset about this. They're saying that it creates the impression that some people are above the law. But I think when it comes to the SIU, they're basically saying, look, we've done our part, we've investigated, but, we are not a prosecuting authority. That's the job of the NPA. And if they're declining to prosecute, there's nothing else that we can say. So that's actually one to really watch closely.
And then Zikalala must apologize for misleading the public. The KZN Premier under a lot of pressure at the moment. Is Zikalala?
Yes, I'm sure we all remember the story when the KZN government bought vehicles for the royal wives, right. Or royal family members. There was 6 vehicles, and I think 5 of them for the Queens and also 1 for the Queen's mothers. And at the time, there was a question put forward to the Premier to ask, how much are these paid, how much were these vehicles? And he insisted that it was below 800,000 rand per vehicle. And now it has since emerged that, 5 of these vehicles were in fact above 1 million rand, which is above government's prescripted allowances for vehicles. So they're basically calling for him to apologize for misleading the public, and he should have never spent so much on for luxury vehicles for the royal family.
Yeah, the rest of
so that's quite an interesting one.
Yeah, the rest of South Africa buys second-hand cars that they can afford. In the end, we all buy second-hand cars. Yeah, because that's what we can afford. Zikalala's his officers come forward and say, look, no, but we didn't take into account VAT and so on. But, opposition parties are not having it. They're really upset, and they're demanding an apology.
So they're not going to back down. We know that for sure until that apology comes. I just want to move on to the Star newspaper and place some, time on this very tragic story, Rochelle, of Lebogang Munene, who has just tragically killed at the Tembisa hospital. Mother blaming the Gauteng Health for misfortunes. I mean, what do we make of that story, and how do you think the health department has dealt with this? Brother, maybe not the health department only, but also, I suppose, the police department, given that it was an on-duty police officer who used state resources and killed, of course, Lebrang Monen.
I mean, look, you know, the way when that story broke, was it last week? I mean, it was absolutely heartbreaking, and it really just brought to the fore the issues of you know, security in hospitals, and how, you know, someone can just come in uniform. And I mean, we know that there's an issue really of people impersonating police officers, how someone can come in uniform and just walk in without any questions asked and come and take a life of you know, his partner. It's absolutely unbelievable. And I think that a lot needs to be done in order to strengthen security in hospitals and in clinics, and because we're seeing a lot more of this happening. I mean, I can just talk to, you know, issues that we come across here of gangsters that run through clinics looking for people that, you know, that they had, you know, gripes with. So those are the kind of issues that really need to come front and center when one is talking about healthcare in our country. We need to also talk about security and safety measures in healthcare.
Yeah. Rochelle, thank you very much indeed. It's clearly time to take Doggy for a walk as well, so we are going to let you go at the moment as well. It's like, Mom, let's go for a walk. Enough talking on television now. Rochelle de Kock, always good to have Rochelle with us, the editor of the Herald newspaper. I'm sure we'll speak to Rochelle again in the not too distant future. Now,